So I think the state of the meetings industry is tough right now. The meetings industry has always mirrored business in general, and business in general is having a tough time, and meetings are as well. We have felt it. Our clients have postponed some meetings, downsized some meetings, in a couple of cases canceled meetings. So we're in a tough time right now. Our clients are not changing their behavior in terms of our relationship with them. We don't see them going direct because they just don't have the time. In many cases, our clients' meeting planning departments have been downsized. In some cases, their entire planning department has been eliminated. So the clients that we're working with and have been working with are continuing to work with us, so the relationships have not suffered, but what we're feeling is that they are having fewer meetings, or they're having smaller meetings. In some cases, they're having meetings that are, rather than a global meeting as an example, they're having smaller regional meetings. So I don't see that there hasn't been an erosion of the relationship for us, but just an elimination or a downsizing of the meetings that have been scheduled. Yeah, in some cases, the meetings that have been viewed as less essential are being eliminated. Although in some cases, meetings that are essential have also been canceled or postponed. In some cases, it appears that those are decisions being made out of fear, rather than solid business decisions, which concerns me, because that fear seems to feed the concern that we all have. So I think that the lesson for us is to not make business decisions based in fear, that we need to always make sure to look at the business case. What we are finding, however, also is that the meetings that have some measure of, some way of measuring their success are the meetings that are continuing. So it's all about measurement, it's all about proving the value, it's all about really using ROI, rather than just saying we ought to have this meeting because it makes people feel good. It's our responsibility as the meeting management firm to help those companies apply specific measurements to their meetings. And those are the meetings that are continuing to get funded. Our clients are telling us that they want the same thing that they've always want from suppliers. They want to have a high level of trust. They want to know that whoever they're working with can deliver what they say they're going to deliver. They want a fair price. What we're finding is that our clients are expecting a bit more without wanting necessarily to pay more. And I think that that's just true across the board for everybody. All of us want that, right? Because everybody's budgets are being squeezed right now. So it's not that it's more difficult, but it's changed a little bit. Fortunately, on the buyer's side, we have an ability to work with hotels, because it's a buyer's market right now. We have the ability to deliver a bit more in hotel contracts and that sort of thing. So our clients are asking for more, and we're able to deliver more in some cases. Quality always has and should have a place in meetings. In Concepts Worldwide, we are almost never the low bidder. There are always companies and individuals that can underprice us, so we don't sell on we're the cheapest. And meetings are an area where it's absolutely true that you get what you pay for. So if there is an organization that needs to go with somebody cheap, we will usually refer that out to somebody that we know has less overhead, a smaller structure, and that sort of thing. So yeah, of course there are organizations that want to do that. Those aren't generally the people that we work with. I think the current economic situation and the budget restrictions that everybody's working on will change the way people work. However, I think that one of the decisions that some companies have made is to eliminate meetings altogether, and they will find that that doesn't work. That live meetings All live meetings cannot be replaced through webinars and teleconferencing and that sort of thing. So I think that while this is, some companies are doing that right now because they have to, because they've got the budget restrictions, the effectiveness of those meetings will be proven to be not as strong as a live meeting. You just don't have the opportunity for those spontaneous and important meetings that you have with people at a live meeting. Those just aren't going to happen on a webinar or a teleconference. You're not going to have a spontaneous hallway conversation with somebody, or you can't sit with them over cocktail and talk about business spontaneously. So those kinds of things contribute to the business discussion and can't be replaced electronically. That said, I think that some of the lavishness that we've been accustomed to the last few years that we don't have now, some of that is going to come back. I know that it will, and there's a place for it. But today is a time for just greater awareness of, are we spending our money in the right places? Is this lavish incentive trip, as an example, does it really pay off? In some cases, the answer is yes, it does. I mean, some of those things do contribute in a meaningful way to a company's success and to the increase in sales and that sort of thing. So those things are important. And I don't think that they're going to go away permanently. I think that when big companies either go forward with incentive trips or cancel them, as we've seen recently, it has the ripple effect is really significant. I think that if a meeting has a solid business objective, and if that meeting supports the overall objective of the organization in motivating their salespeople and driving sales and that sort of thing, then the meeting has a good reason and a valid reason for continuing. If it is a party without solid objectives, and it's a party that is held just because it's always been held, and at the same time there is a big hit for that company for their shareholders, that may not be terribly wise. But I think the important thing for meetings of any kind and of any budget is that they have very clear objectives, that those objectives are understood by everybody in the organization about this is why we're having the meeting, this is what we hope to accomplish, and then that those objectives, the accomplishment of those objectives is measured. That stops the conversation about the value of this meeting and whether or not it's a boondoggle, because are there meetings that are a complete waste of time and money? Absolutely. But it's our responsibility in the meeting industry to make sure that the meetings we do are tied to the overall objectives of the organization, and that they're not perceived as frivolous or a waste of the shareholders' money. Well, I think the MPI has provided several tools for meeting planners to communicate the value of meetings. We can't just say, this is a really good meeting because I'm doing it. We have to be able to look at the business objectives around a meeting and to be able to tie the meeting's value to that. One of the most valuable tools is the ROI methodology. It's a very clear methodology, and it puts meetings on the same level as any other investment that an organization would make. If you buy a building and you plan to sell it in 5 years or 10 years, you want to know how much money you're going to make on that. If you're holding a meeting that has often the same investment as a building, you should know what you're going to get back from that. And so that is one of the measurements. But as meeting planners and members of MPI, we need to be very clear about the business objectives of the meeting, not just the meeting details, which is sometimes what we concentrate on.